just give us a kind of general picture of your evolution from vegan activist to bioregional hunter?
Yeah, sure. Well, I went vegetarian when I was 16 years old. It's quite a long time ago at this point. When I was growing up and my family was feeding me, I ate what we all do without much question, and I didn't really think of where the meat that we were eating was coming from. But once you're getting into your early teens, you start getting your own ideals and questioning things. And as soon as I found out how animals are raised in our culture to provide dinner, which is not on farms typically, it's more in factory systems, I knew that that was a system that I didn't want to support, and I wanted to withdraw my support. And at that time, the what I would consider primitive now, way that I chose to do that was by going vegetarian.
Can I just ask real quick, what were some of the things? Was it just kind of sinister videos online of slaughterhouses or something like that? Or was
it was, I forget how, at this point, it was so long ago how I was even first exposed to it, but once you start reading and looking into it and researching, at that point there really wasn't as many videos online.
Yeah, actually, when we were teenagers, there probably wasn't an online.
Yeah, but, just through reading and research, I started finding out more information how animals were raised. So then a couple years later, I actually went vegan, in an effort to be more consistent, and also because in the dairy industry, there's all sorts of problems within the dairy industry that vegetarianism itself, don't address. And then after that, I was vegan for almost 13 years after that, and it had really become part of my identity and who I was as a person. My friends were mostly vegan. What I did, the clothes I wore, the activities I partook in, where most of my peers my age were partying and drinking, as I was partaking in animal rights activism. So like I said, it was a big part of my life for a long time. But what I failed to realize over that time is that I was having a series of health problems that weren't major, but they were debilitating nonetheless. And because I was so invested in this idea of veganism and I was so committed to it, that I failed to acknowledge that perhaps my health problems were due to the diet that I was eating or certain nutrients that I was lacking. And it took a long time for both me and my partner at the time later in life to come to the realization that maybe we should incorporate meat back into our diet.
So I can hear all the vegans yelling at the screen and saying, like, didn't you take your supplements? Like, did you eat enough kale and spinach?
The example that I give in the book is when this all came to a head. My wife was pregnant with her second child. At that point in time, we were eating a wide variety of organic produce. She was taking supplements. I've never been into supplements myself. I believe our nutrients should come from food, but we were eating what I would consider a very healthy diet, especially compared to the standard American diet, and it just really wasn't sufficient. So when we decided to incorporate meat back in my diet, I basically imposed these series of prerequisites upon myself that if I was going to be eating animals, I was going to do it in a way where I could actually be in tune and intimate with the process of turning a living thing into dinner. And that is what a lot of people have found intriguing, and what basically inspired me to start writing the book about that process. Like, how did that all transpire? And the thing is, even when I was vegan, there was a long time that I didn't necessarily believe that killing animals was necessarily ethically wrong. I was vegan because it was an alternative to factory farming, and I didn't really have another example to turn to. Simply abstaining from animal products was the easiest alternative to supporting factory farming. But there are other ways to do it. Veganism isn't the only alternative. I knew for a long time that the natural economic state of human beings, the subsistence strategy that humans evolved with is hunting and gathering. That's the most natural state of humans. So I knew that killing animals wasn't wrong. I just had to figure out how to reconcile the fact that I was going to eat meat as a participant in our culture, and how to do that in a way that actually honors the animals and whatnot.